Now, while Holden's future remains very much uncertain, Australians buying more new cars than ever. So why are local manufacturers struggling at the moment?
The Australian market is very competitive, with more than 60 brands in a relatively small marketplace. With more Consumer Affairs reporter Amy Bainbridge joins us now. Amy, good morning.
Good morning.
What are the particular and unique identifying factors of the Australian car marketplace?
Well, over the last couple of decades, more and more brands have been appearing in the Australian marketplace. Australians bought more than 1 million new cars so far this year, and it's about 2% more than this time last year if we're looking at the year-to-date figures. So there's plenty of people wanting new cars, but there's more brands than ever to choose from. We've got a lot of Asian brands and models coming into Australia. European brands are extremely popular. The Toyota Camry was the most popular car for the month of November, but overall the Mazda 3 has been the big seller in Australia. I went to South Melbourne yesterday, just outside a supermarket in a car park, and spoke to some car owners about why they chose to buy their new cars.
I bought the Volkswagen because I think it's a beautiful car and good value for money, and yeah, really comfortable and enjoy driving it.
Volvo, and mainly for safety. It's a safe car and I do a bit of driving, so yeah, very economical.
Did you ever consider buying like a Holden or a Ford, something that was made locally, or was it not really?
Yeah, I did, but I didn't. They didn't compare to what I was wanting.
Why have I bought a Mazda? I've never really liked Holden cars. I just don't think they're manufactured and finished as well as they should be. I guess they've improved over the years. The new Barina is great, but I just couldn't go to a Holden, I'm sorry.
And as has been referred to a couple of times there, it does come down to price for a lot of people, and where the dollar's been at the moment over the last year or two, imported cars are generally cheaper.
Absolutely. It has been really, especially the cars that are produced in Asia, really seen as very good value for money. But then you look at the European cars, and as we heard that car owners say, they've got that great reputation for safety as well. Bill Malkoutsis, who's an auto engineering expert, and he runs his own consultancy firm, he worked for Ford for 13 years. He says the future for cars that are made in Australia is actually in exporting.
Okay.
Exporting is where it is. The marketplace has already spoken and are buying the volumes that they buy. If Holden can't make a profit on that, and without the support of the government and the like, they need to look at export. They need to broaden it. And we had that for a little while, where we used to sell them as Chevrolets to the United States. But the Chevrolets have now moved away. Holden helped design the Camaro, which is basically on the Epsilon platform, which is what the Commodore is based on. And so we could be making those for the US if the economic climate was right for here to send there or specialised units.
But all of this discussion is just a little bit too late, isn't it? I mean, we could have been a great exporter of cars, but we're not going to make many of them.
And it is a very, as you mentioned earlier, Michael, the dollar is a huge factor here as well at the moment. And for Holden to make a Commodore here, it costs about $3,000 more per car to build it here in Australia.
Least, yeah.
But then you look at all the kick-on industries and the amount of intelligence that we would lose in Australia if the industry does shut down.
Yeah.
And Bill Malkoutsis, being a commentator on the industry, he firmly believes that the Australian government should be committing to more assistance for Holden to stay here.
It's interesting because those other associated companies, a lot of them, as established in particular by AM earlier this year when they were on the road, they're doing very well in those high-tech, value-added industries that are associated with the car industry. The question is, could they actually keep surviving and exporting their technology without the car industry? In some cases, they probably could, but what's the anticipated knock-on effect to the general industry?
That's right. And another thing that the Auto Engineering Association is saying at the moment is that brands like Holden and even Toyota to some extent need to be investing in the future and looking at future mobility trends. Now, one idea that's come up from that association is the three-wheeled motor scooter, if you like, where you essentially stand on it, you can have a passenger with you and be leaning on something and you're protected within a capsule, and you can fit more of those on the roads. They're very, very economical. I think you can get 100 k's for about a litre of petrol. And so if you're trying to predict, and this is the tricky part of it, is you're trying to predict the future trends of consumers and where the market's going to go. And I guess the point for Holden at the moment is they haven't been able to do that. They haven't been able to pick that one car that Australians really still want to buy because the trends have changed, and now consumers are just spoilt for choice in this market.
Those scooters sound fantastic. They're not available yet, are they?
They're not, well, I think there's
Very
a
George
prototype
Jetson.
around.
Yeah, Jetson fan. That's the first I thought.
It is. And Bill Malkoutsis is saying that, you know, perhaps this is something that had happened in about 10 years' time, but you need to be designing that now because these
Absolutely.
designs don't just happen overnight. And to do that design, you need the investment and the support.
Good to talk to you this morning. Thanks so much.
Thanks, Amy.